How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be going over 10 tips on how to increase your fuel economy or make the most out of your fuel economy. So as of recording of this video, March 2024, your regular gas prices on the national average is $3.53. So with summer coming along, gas prices will be increasing, and this may be something important to the viewers out there. So if you have some additional tips or some of these you may have tried or not tried, make sure you do drop a comment down below with your thoughts. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the video. Number one, clean air filter. So a lot of people overlook this. A clogged air filter will make the engine work harder and decreasing your fuel economy. So you're going to want to check your filter between 15 and 20,000 miles or once a year and change it as needed at that point. In most conditions, if you work in a very dusty environment, then maybe you want to check it every 6 months or every 10,000 miles or so. Additionally, you may want to consider upgrading to high flow filter as you reduce the energy the engine has to work. You're going to increase your miles per gallon. Again, this may be marginally, but everything does add up. So make sure you're changing your air filter. It doesn't cost a ton, and you'll get some good results out of it. Number two, correct tire inflation. So a lot of people are out there driving with underinflated tires, which increases the rolling resistance of the tire, makes it harder for the engine to work to get the same energy, pushing the vehicle through. So you're going to want to check your tire pressure when the tires are cold. So if you pull up to a gas station, maybe you want to wait, 10, 15 minutes. I know that's not ideal, but if you're at the repair shop and your car's on a lift, chances are it's been there for 15, 20 minutes and your tires are going to be as cold as possible. Ideally, you'd want to check it at home before you even drive it at all. This might not be an option for everyone, but this would be the best case scenario. And when you inflate your tires, let's say in the winter at 36 PSI, if they're warm already, by the time they cool off, they might drop down to 30, 32 PSI and not really having the same effect as it should. So most importantly, it's very important to change it or to check your tire pressure coming from the summer to the fall months, as there is a dramatic temperature decrease, especially if you're like in the Northeast like I am here, and we see big variables and big changes in those months. Tip number three, you may want to consider low resistance tires. So I wouldn't go out of my way to go buy these tires if you have brand new or good tires on a vehicle. Although at the time of changing your tires, this is something you may want to consider. At that point, you're going to want to look at the prices. Obviously, you have a couple different brands and low resistance tires versus normal tires, and just see what your best option is and just see if it's really cost effective at that point or not, depending on your driving habits, your conditions, etc. So don't overlook it, but also don't go hell-bent out of your way trying to just get these tires if you have perfectly good tires on your vehicle. Number four, so anytime you have a chance at decreasing the wheel weight or rotating mass of a vehicle, you're going to get an uptick in miles per gallon, and the car's just going to have to work less hard to get the car moving, and also will improve braking and handling and stuff like that. So you can get a multiple effect from the same thing. So at this point, maybe also a good idea for those low resistant tires. Also, people sometimes like to add bigger wheels and stuff. So obviously, this would have the reverse effect of gaining miles per gallon, right? So if you have bigger wheels, the engine's gonna have to work harder to get the car moving. So something you want to consider, also the width of the tire. So a wider wheel will have a wider tire, or to make it look right and fit correctly at least. So if your car has a 225, for instance, you had a 245 tire, not only you're adding weight, you're also increasing the rolling resistance, which will all have a negative effect on fuel economy. So something to consider: lightweight wheels, great option. Try to keep them same size as possible. If you do increase the width, then you could lose weight, but at the same time increase rolling resistance and maybe canceling each other out. But if that's something you want to look for, then great. If you want to maximize the fuel efficiency, I would say low resistance tires, lightweight wheel, same with a tire, and that'll increase the maximum possible. Next one on the list, accessories. So a lot of people like to add accessories to the vehicle, which is fine, right? They may make it look better, or you may need it as a necessity. For example, some running boards, right? So if you have a SUV or a crossover and you're on the shorter end, you may need running boards to easily access the cabin, right? So that's okay, but that could have a negative effect on the fuel economy. Now, that's not too big of a deal. Some people like to add a wing, for instance. If it's a lower wing, might not have too big of a deal either, but all those stuff are messing with the airflow that the car was originally designed for and disrupting that airflow. So a big no-no, in my opinion, would be the crossbars or a roof attachment. So yes, sometimes you may need it for road trips, for example. At that point, it's fine. You need it for space. It is what it is, right? But for your daily commute, don't have that big box on top of your roof. It's just gonna make a big wall essentially there, increase the resistance up against the wind, and just decrease your fuel economy pretty dramatically, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So if you like the accessories, fine. Just know it's probably going to have a negative effect on your fuel economy. So if you could limit those accessories, that would be great and increase the chances of giving your best fuel economy. Number 6, weight. So a lot of people like to have a ton of stuff in their trunk, in the car, etc., which is fine, right? Sometimes you need to store stuff in there, but all that added weight goes back to the same theory as the wheels. So the more the engine has to work to get the car moving, the more fuel you're going to burn. So if you have stuff in the trunk that you don't need to be carrying there, you don't need, let's say golf clubs or some weights you take to the gym or whatnot, try to leave those wherever you need to have them and not have them in a car. Now, if you need to carry stuff in there, then so be it. But just know that that's going to have a negative effect on, your fuel economy. So anytime you can limit anything, any extra weight out of the vehicle, make sure you take that out, especially if you're going on longer trips and you don't need that stuff in there, right? You're going on a weekend trip, you don't need it for your daily commute, your daily job, whatever it is. There's no point of that stuff being there. So if you have all that stuff in your trunk, in your car, make sure you remove it, get the best out of fuel economy. Number 7, driving habits. So this should be a no-brainer. So some people just can't be honest with themselves for whatever reason. But if you're going from light to light and accelerating, having this hard stop because the other light turned red, or if you're dipping in and out of traffic, then obviously you're probably driving on the more aggressive side. So anytime you do that, you're going to be wasting more gas. So if you want to get the most out of your fuel economy, cruise speed limit, the speed limit is 35, go 35. If it's 45, go 45. If you're on a highway, do 75. Just try to maintain that speed as much as possible. But anytime you go to overtake somebody or you dipping in and out of traffic, you're going to be using more fuel than you really need to, and chances are you're probably not going to get to where you need to go any much faster anyways, and you may or may not have some encounters with the police. So get the most out of your fuel economy, maintain that speed, drive moderate, don't drive aggressive, and you'll increase the chances of you getting the most out of your fuel economy. Number 8, plan your route. So if you know you need to be at work or at a certain location at 8 a.m., let's say for instance, and that is your high traffic, high congestion time, then you may want to consider leaving 15 or 20 minutes early. For me, for example, sometimes even on a highway, if I leave a little bit later, just maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I'm sitting in stop and go traffic. Now, if I leave 10, 15 minutes earlier, I'll be in a steady cruise. I'll be doing 70, 75, 80, and I'll just be nice and steady the whole time. I'm not stopping. I'm not going consistently wasting more gas, just maintaining that speed. So if you have a habit of getting to work at a certain time and you see that the traffic is being an issue, then you may want to consider leaving a little bit early, and you'll get the most out of your fuel economy that way. Number 9, know when to use your AC or when to have your windows open. So anytime you add an extra load to your engine, being your AC compressor, the engine is going to take more efficiency to run and thus burn more gas. So anything when it's hotter and it's obviously not super uncomfortable for you, try to use your windows, try to roll them down, and up to like 35, 40 miles per hour, this would probably be the most efficient way. Now, if you're on a highway, you're going to want to close your windows. And at that point, that would be the most appropriate time to turn on the AC. Furthermore, in the wintertime, with these modern cars, anytime you turn on the climate control, it automatically turns on the AC compressor. So if you have an AC button and there is no need for a defrost or anything of that nature, make sure you turn off that AC button, and like that, the AC compressor won't be running and your engine will be running as efficiently as possible. And last but not least, I know a lot of people like to use this as it's been come to being a pretty standard feature or option in a lot of vehicles, and that is a remote start. So obviously everyone likes to be nice and warm when they get in the car, or nice and cool in the summer when they get in the car, but at that time, those 10-15 minutes your car is either warming up or cooling off the cabin, you're burning gas. So if a fuel economy is up, one of your utmost concerns, then you may want to cut this out of your car. So what I like to do when I start my car in the winter is let it idle for maybe 2-3 minutes, then get going, drive moderate up until it's the engine temperatures are up to running conditions. In the summertime, what I like to do is open up the windows all the way down and drive for about 5 minutes, turn on the AC at the same time and let all the hot air out, and those vents starting to get cool. And like that, you won't have to be burning gas, just letting it idle there for 10-15 minutes or so. So once again, that's going to be it for this video, and I'll catch everyone on the next one.